Hello, friends. Suns fan here with the great Joel Larson. They said I couldn't wear this hat; it wouldn't fit. You guys can see me. Don't worry. The lighting is intended. No, we don't want the lights on.
No.
We want a nice romantic time here with Joel Larson, GG, newly branded, my friend. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I feel so international now.
You technically are.
Yeah.
How are you doing, friend?
I'm fantastic. It's great to be here with the WePlay family. Gonna cast a game that I love, and I'm so excited to see what these players come up with. How about yourself?
I can't wait to see Knights.
Me too.
I'm very excited about Knights, and one day you guys... Okay, my hat fell off. The production is now ruined, but we get to finally cast our first game of Underlords, my friend. I am so excited about this.
Speaking about Knights, we saw 2 Batriders at the start, and...
What? Okay, this game's over, right? Veno 2 already? At round 2?
That's your favorite boy, right?
Dude.
Some fans keep talking to me about all this level 7 rerolling strats that he's been dreaming about.
Oh my god.
Which I mean, they're pretty good. I'll agree with you.
I mean, I will admit, I loved Venomancer when he was really bad, which was a couple patches ago.
Sure,
but now he's legitimately good as a one-cost unit, right?
It's an amazing unit. It's just that Warlock is a very powerful alliance, and so is Savage, and they're easy to assemble to finish the early game, and they also transfer well into the late game, given that it's a Warlock.
I mean, you're seeing 3 players run Savage very early on, which, of course, as you talked about, is extremely common right now.
Yeah.
But the difference is I feel like people stick with Savage more often than they have in the past, which is exciting for Savage players out there, which is literally everybody, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of Savage, as you said, in the early game, and then some transition into Warriors or maybe Knights mid-game. That's pretty usual. Here we see a 100 player. I think that's less common, so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Hunters will not be kept long-term here.
That might be the case. It all depends on, since there's not that many Hunters, there's one more now with Lycan, so it's a little bit easier.
Yep.
It depends a lot if you get an early Drow Ranger and if you can level her up.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, Beastmaster 2 also helps a lot in the early game if you want to pave the way.
And for
Hunters.
people that are joining us that maybe haven't kept note of some changes that have come about recently, the Blink Dagger, of course, you can see is on the Beastmaster right now.
Right.
Very cool change, because before all it did was blink somebody. Now it gives 50 mana on activation as well.
When we see an interesting thing for Nirtam, he realized that Beastmaster will be enough to defeat the wave. So instead of putting 3 units, they could maybe take the kill steal from Beastmaster. In case he gets the brawny buff, he will get more health for his Beastmaster. So heads up play there.
Yeah, and the brawny buff, of course, gives, it depends on the tier. I believe it's 25, 50, or 75 HP for every kill accumulated throughout the game. The fact that it's retroactive makes it really cool. So even if you're not going for this heavy brawny strat, you just have this beefy Beastmaster, and then you get the perk later on. It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. I had a game myself earlier that I talked to you about with Blade Mail Axe with 11k HP. That was grand old time.
Oh man, not just Blade Mail, but Blink on Axe is so sick now, because he only has 50 mana capacity, one of the few heroes with less than 100. So being able to taunt right away is very, very nice.
So here we have one of the best starts you can have in the game with a Tiny 2 early game versus the Savage buff with Enchantress, which is another one of the best starts. So it's going to be interesting to see which one comes out ahead. Seems like the healing and the targeting makes it so that Enchantress come on top. What do you think about this?
Very exciting. Venomancer just destroyed another set of heroes, Joel. It's very nice to see. I mean, it all depends on how many. I don't think. Oh, we do have 1 Tooth and Claw. That's on.
Yeah, that helps
now.
a lot. Helps a lot. Yeah, you can see, and also Wrist has pretty powerful start with Savages.
This is pretty good though as well. CK is one of the best level 1 units in the game, just for that fat body. And, you know,
and damage too. I mean, he's such a beast.
Yeah, he's an actual beast. They just didn't. They just made him a demon this game. You know, he's riding a beast at least.
For sure.
That's the question: is the horse he's riding also a demon? Because then they cancel each other out, Joel. I think the lore might be messed up here a bit.
I mean, I can help you there.
Asking the difficult questions here already, but
the questions that the analyst boy wasn't prepared for.
Yes, very important questions indeed.
Maybe you can ask Slacks about that.
No, nobody wants to talk to him. Snowf right now absolutely dominating because of this this start, as we have seen.
Yeah.
Level 2 Veno and Batrider. Batrider is one of those heroes, especially when you come from auto chess. Pretty bad unit in auto chess and extremely good in this game.
Yeah. Batrider paving the way for Knights is super powerful, especially now that we changed back to 2 Knights being powerful in the early game.
Yeah.
We've seen change towards going that you need 3 knights to get the bonus, but in Dota Underlords you only need 2. So if you have a battle ready 2, that deals a lot of damage, and it also enables a powerful tank if you get either Omen Knight, Chaos Knight, and Abaddon, of course.
Right.
Yeah, super powerful start. He also has a pretty good backline here with Venomancer, so he has a a lot of sustainable damage.
Just Venomancer though. The Shadow Shaman nobody cares about.
No, no. Not the greatest units. Maybe the worst units in the game. Can we agree upon that?
As a singular unit is certainly the worst unit in the game right now.
However, right here, it doesn't do much by itself, but it helps enable the troll buff. Yep. And the troll buff is not only enabled on all of your units to give 10 attack speed, but it's also on all of the Venom wards, which is a lot more important when you have a level 2 Venomancer. Yep. Also, Batrider becomes a lot more powerful with more attack speed, being able to chug out those napalm.
Dude, Shadow Shaman just hexed you. He did something, Joel. What a All right, I'm changing my opinion. What an ability. Unbelievable.
All right, so we're already starting to see Snowf having a streak here. Let's see if Max will have a streak as well. TrueMed has a streak, so that's interesting. Everybody's at 5, and the gold is pretty similar. So we can see the strats coming out pretty similar for all of the players, right?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the changes to the streak gold? So for those that don't know, basically can only streak up to 8 in a row, and then it resets completely.
Right.
And for lose gold, or losing streak, I should say, you can only lose 2 gold at most.
I think I like it quite a lot because the snowball, I mean, streaking does snowball, but only to a certain extent, right? Yeah. And previous you knew that one player was for sure going to win after round 14 or something if they were still streaking. But maybe you could come second and third, right? But now you can actually win against those early streakers.
By the way, forgot to mention, in this game, everyone is a Lord except for TrueMad here. This is it's not even a big, this is a boss 4.
Wow.
This is who I'm rooting for, guys.
Yeah, this is the underdog story. That's for sure.
Looking forward to that, no doubt.
Yeah, all right, so we see Savages and Druids doing Savages and Druid things, spawning units and sustaining their life totals. So we'll see if this battle will ever be over.
Man, having 2 Enchantresses face off in a 1v1 at the end of a battle is it's quite exciting, let me tell you.
Or the old Primordials, which disarmed, and then you had an Enchantress healing herself.
Joel, nobody wants to talk about the old Primordials. That week never actually happened. That was a nightmare. No one wants to remember.
I remember a game that we played very clearly.
No one wants to hear about you doing 45 damage to me and ruining my life, but that's another story.
Right.
Oh, I didn't even realize 2 strange bedfellows.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. Wow. So that's a super powerful start if you want to go into Demon Hunters. And it seems that YSA, not only does he have a good start, but he's prepping up those demons for a potential pretty powerful bedfellow game.
Hey, I am one of the first proponents of demons, my friend.
Right. I mean,
I'm the demon guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out, and it sometimes goes down in flames, but it's exciting and it's fun to play. But
he never shuts up about his demons.
that is the problem. Is you need both AM and it's one of the few strategies where you literally need a set 2 units to actually properly do.
It's almost as difficult as shamans, right? But
yeah,
much more powerful.
Yeah, that's the difference. Shaman's like, okay, I have 3. Okay. Unfortunately, I've lost the game.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I think shamans. I'm actually a little bit scared because in the future they might get buffed beyond recognition as well.
Right. Yeah, there's gonna be this.
Like in a week, Shadow Shaman is gonna be like the best unit in the game.
Mark my words.
This will not age well.
We can even see. Actually, there is some contention for the Strange Bedfalls, and we can see that. Chow has straight Bedfalls, and he also has a Terrorblade already, and an AM already at level 2, so that's going to be super annoying for YCA 4.
There is a TB on the bench as well for YCA.
Yeah, and he wants to wait with the TB until he finds an anti-mage to get the buff, because then he will get a lot of damage. Let's just say that with the double Bedfellows.
What's the best way to play demons in your opinion? Because from my perspective, I think a lot of people fall into this trap where they try to just do too many demons. And I feel like the biggest downside of playing demons is, first of all, you have no crowd control at all.
Right.
Like even if you get like a Fall from Grace or something like that, getting a Kunkka down there is really important, although he's not as powerful anymore. What's the way that you personally like to play demons?
I think the 2 most important parts is, as you said, you need crowd control. So you need a way for Terrorblade to pop off and protect him. So not only do you need crowd control to kind of keep him intact, but you also need a front line because TB is not great at frontlining.
Right.
And you want him to be able to survive as long as possible, which means you want to have him a little bit on the side, take maybe a little bit of damage, but the rest of the tanks have to be sustainable. So some kind of a good front line, could be knights, could be warriors, could be druids, I mean, whatever. So as long as you can assemble those two things and maybe get a BKB on Terrorblade, and we're going to have a jolly old time.
BKB is the dream for almost any late game lineup when you have somebody that important in your composition.
For sure. Yeah, TB is a little bit of a eggs in all basket if you go, especially if you go too many demons. So, and the other downside with going too many demons is that they're hard to combine with other alliances, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you get enough synergy while also doing the Demon Hunter build.
That's one of those when once you start going, it feels like you're just committed. And you may have screwed yourself, but you're committed to the end, and that's how it should be in life.
I'll let that speak for yourself.
Thank you, Joel. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think pretty item dependent on Terrorblade as well, right? I think Blink Dagger is a really good option.
Amazing. Blink Dagger is amazing.
Like even if you don't get something like that, a CM in that squad actually makes a lot of sense.
For sure.
CM makes a lot of sense in a lot of lineups.
Yes.
Though, right?
No, for sure. I mean, you're completely right. He needs a lot of help, but when he gets the help, he becomes super powerful. Also, much like the analyst desk was saying previously, there was a metagame before which was all about going up to 9, 10, getting those legendary units, and then he wasn't as powerful. But we've seen this new metagame. We have a lot of earlier rolling at 7 and 8.
Yeah, I love it.
And that means that all of the tier 3 units, when the rank 3 has become buffed, which is huge for Terrorblade.
Yeah.
So that's a big buff for him.
Yeah, I really like the way that this patch is playing out.
Yeah, I love it too.
Very fast-paced. The fact that legendaries have an extra one on top now makes it harder to get them. Plus, games don't even last that long to the point where you can actually get legitimate legendaries.
Also, there's less comps that actually include a legendary that actually does want to play them. Yeah,
that's the dream. One thing I will say though, every single lineup it feels like needs warlocks, 2 minimum.
Yep.
And one of those warlocks needs to be this guy who just died, Shadowfiend.
Yeah.
And that makes him probably, I want to say, the most contested hero in the entire game right now.
Completely agree. First of all, he's an amazing hero by himself. He deals an absurd amount of damage early, and early it's kind of hard to come by damage. And Shadowfiend does that for so little gold. Also, he's a warlock, just like you said. So if he gets his ulti off, he will heal himself to full HP and continue dashing out damage. And he's also an important part in at least demon comp and the mage comp, right? Because it's super great when your opponents have less magic resistance. So great hero. Probably the top tier hero of the game right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We're seeing 2 players actually, Max and TrueMad, going for, at least early, Assassin's start, one of which is more Goblin, oh boy, Scrappy Inventor.
Scrappy.
God, that is going to be the hardest one to get to remember. Holy jeez. And the other one, what is that one? That's actually similar. So similar lineups on each side. What do you think of Assassins as a whole right now? I feel like, in theory, they should have gotten buffed, but they feel exactly the same.
Right, with the Primordials becoming worse and there being one less warrior from Lycan, I feel like they should have become better. But there's more lineups now that play towards the early game, which means when they peak, is becoming way more contested. So in that way, I feel like Assassins got better and worse. But I feel like one of the most important parts that makes Assassins slightly better now is that I guess there's 2 reasons. One, Pocket Sands is easier to get because there's different tiers of it, and second, there's more real carries. Like PA now, Phantom Assassins is super amazing at rank 3.
The patch, so this is for those, again, that haven't kept up with all the patches, which I can't blame you for. There have been a lot, which is awesome.
Amazing,
There's a lot of underwhelming heroes when you compare them to auto chess because you can't combine items. So heroes like PA, Morphling, just to name a couple of assassins, were actually, there's no point in getting to 3. Now, there's the metagame where you want to get heroes to level 3 because you can't really get to level 9. It's not as powerful as it used to be, but plus, they actually buffed a lot of these heroes at level 3 to be even more powerful.
And especially PA. I think she has 30% to crit at 400% or something like that at rank 3, which is pretty absurd.
Yeah, she's a beast.
They also buffed Battle Fury, which is like a small buff to her. She gains 70%.
All right, I'm going to say a little overrated.
It's a little overrated, sure. I like Masking Matters better.
Oh, but actually, this is a good question for you. I actually have not asked anybody this. let's say you have a level 3 Slark
Yep.
and a level 3 PA and one Mask of Madness. Who gets it?
PA.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I have not tried it on PA since they buffed her semi-recently, because Slark was always just like the auto include.
I feel like when you get Slark on 3, he gains attack speed a lot faster because his essence shift becomes buffed, and then it becomes more important to have a higher... Then it becomes even better to have damage item on it.
Right.
Sure, Mask of Madness is better, but he gains more from damage item the more ranks he gets in comparison. So in that way, I feel like you should put Mask of Madness on PA.
Right, fair enough.
Yep.
No wonder I'm getting 3rd place in all my games. It's always Slark.
Here's your favorite item in the game, and one of my favorite hidden items. We have CML being Aegis.
Yes.
What do you think about the Aegis, Sans fan?
Oh man, I've gone on record so many a time, and I feel like I was the hipster to start with, and now everyone's agreeing with me. So
I agree with you from the start. Let's be real here.
Fine. You were the one person, my one lone friend in the world, Joel, that agreed that Aegis was actually good. But yeah, the fact that they've changed it to be lethal damage instead of just the next round, and the fact that this patch, everything is, you're just taking so much damage so early. People like, it's not uncommon to see 4 people die in the exact same turn.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's amazing now in the way that, as you said, the games go earlier, but I think it's something that if you come from a card playing background, you want things that enable you to snowball harder earlier, and you feel like Aegis is a losing item, which is not the case. In this game, you're anxious about losing when you go down to 2 low life, so then you feel like you have to roll beyond or below the top interest being 50 gold.
Right.
And if you have Aegis, you can survive many more rounds without being anxious about that. So it actually gains you a bunch of gold in the late game.
I love it.
Effectively.
That's music to my ears, my friend. Absolutely love it.
So top board being scrappies here. I've seen a lot more scrappies lately. Why do you think that is, Samson?
Well, they're far more powerful. I think the Alliance, obviously the units are harder to get because they're 3 costs in form of Tinker and Clockwork, but the actual Alliance is so much better. It's more consistent. And I think the issue I was having early on when they changed this, I still had the old mentality where I needed 6. I needed to get that techies, which just feels like it's impossible at this rate.
Right.
But you don't really need that. You just have the 4, and then you add like a mage or 3 mages or SF or whoever.
Yeah, like SF is a good example. Works well with Alchemist, also being a Warlock. CM helps all of these guys clearly pop off their spells a lot more, which is extra powerful on Tinker. And you can see the full 3 mages, but I feel like going just 1 CM is often better.
Yeah, very, very powerful. And here we're watching CML, who's currently in 1st place with 88 HP. Has the early Heartless Alliance going. Oh, man. 4-staff on Pudge. Let's see how this performs. Oh, wait, it's on Tinker now.
Oh.
Very crucial change. Very interested to see how this bad boy works. But he's, of course, working with all level 2 units right now.
I like that CML has so many. I mean, he has 3 different alliances already with only 6 units, and all of them are level 2. So his setup is very powerful, and I feel like he will be able to transition pretty well
as he gets wrecked in this round.
I mean, we shall see.
Well, we'll see. Okay,
it's not over yet.
It's close.
Oh,
2 snipers died instantly though.
Yeah.
And, okay, there's a bear. The bear means you lose.
Yes. If there's a bear in the end game, it's over, my friends.
Even a level 1, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
We can actually see the top spots being fairly even. All in top 4, there's usually, or sometimes there's one play that's really sticking out, but I feel like all the top 4 are pretty close, or even maybe the top 2 actually are more close.
Oh, it feels like every game is like this now. I mean, sometimes you have like one guy that's like way ahead, and he's like, all right, that guy's gonna win, but I need to get 2nd or 3rd so I don't downrank. And it's very difficult to actually get to that now.
Yeah. You can see Snowth being 2nd, and he's actually starting to have a win streak, being level 7.
This is the dream.
And his setup is it's starting to peak now as well. Given that it's level 7, he has a lot easier time to get those knight units that he's looking for. We can see he's running 4 knights. He already has a dragon sword. So I think there's a good chance that Snowth will streak for quite some time, giving his upgrades and his potential.
Yeah, Snowth's board looks pretty freaking solid right now.
Yeah, it's disgusting, actually.
He's setting up for that Dragon Knight later, as you talked about. What do you think of Dragon Sword? I feel like this is one of the worst items in the game.
Yes, I hate it because...
Hate is a strong word, Joel. That's not a typical word used by Swedes in my experience.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, the reason is why I just don't dislike it, which I can do with many other items.
Yes.
That are not great, is because I've been trapped into using it.
It is a trap.
It is a trap. But I mean, sometimes you gotta pick it if it's if there's nothing else you're really looking for in your own comp.
Yeah,
and
that's definitely
I
true.
think Snowf is very locked into what he's doing right now. He's trying to decide whether he should go for Trolls or maybe a Dragonite. Or even...
I mean, he's going Dragon. Okay, so this is going to be a 6-Knight, I think, with Viper on the side is the ultimate goal, obviously.
Maybe even going up tonight, having 2 Trolls.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, you could do 4 Knights with Dragons and Warlocks to fit everything actually in there. That could be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I feel like, personally, I feel like Knights are one of the hardest setups to play because they're hardest knowing whether you should roll to level up your powerful mid-tier units, like CK becomes super powerful at rank 3. Or whether you should level up to put in Puck or Viper for Dragonite, or if you should go up to 9 to get 2 Trolls. I think that's one of the hardest matchups to knowing what you should do with your gold at all times.
I think that's the beauty of this patch. It's not like you have a cookie cutter build you're going to need to follow, right? It's all about feeling, because everybody's going to have a different way to play these Knights. And the fact that Snowf is, obviously he just lost his round, but he's at 72 HP, which top in the game. He has to feel somewhat comfortable to the point where now you have to choose whether you roll a lot at 7 or you go to 8 early. And I think a lot of people have different opinions on what's the correct thing to do.
I think for Snowf at this point, I think going to 8 is better because he wants so many cost 3 units, and he really wants to put in that Dragonite pretty soon. But a lot of the times it's good to roll at 7. We see, if we scroll down a little bit, we have... Yeah, there's not that many early game strats actually in this game. There's a lot of compositions building, or crews as they're called, building on tier 3 units here.
Demons versus Knights, though.
Yeah, this is a bad matchup for Knights because Knights are really good at sustaining and having a lot of damage reduction, but Terrorblade doesn't really care at all.
Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing pure damage, the Knights are literally useless. Yeah, right? They feel like paper.
Yes, yes.
Of course, once this DK2 ends up getting online, which of course he has 2 level 1s on the bench right now, that is, I mean, is there a, I would love to make a tier list here. Like for me, there is no unit that feels better to get to level 2 than Dragon Knight. If you have, obviously, the activator. It feels really good.
I agree. Especially out of the cost 4 units for sure. I can't think of anyone else. I mean, Shadow Fiend. I mean, Shadow Fiend 2.
That's true. In this meta, Shadow Fiend 2 does feel pretty good. How many people have Shadow Fiend 2?
1, 2, 3. No.
Well, a level 1. Oh yeah, 3. So 3 level 2s, 1 level 1, and it also feels like a hero that's very hard to 3-star until people are dying, right?
Yes.
Because then they go back into the pool. Oh, potato. Oh, look at the 4-step on the tomato. Unbelievable play by Tinker. Let's see if it works out. Remember, the potato is the stronger one. You need to kill that first. Of course, you want... Oh, that 4-step was counterintuitive, but luckily for him.
Yeah.
A very exciting battle, Joel.
Smart to kill them both at the same time, because if one of them dies, the other one becomes a lot stronger. Much like they're mega bloodbound, if I'm...
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
Yeah, so... And it's really good for YCA to actually... did they beat this? Yeah. It's usually pretty hard for demons to beat the potato and the tomato.
Yeah, it is.
Because they don't have a lot of crowd control, and their damage can be... It's easy to burst one down.
Sorry,
but
did you say potato and tomato?
Yeah.
Tomato,
potato.
Why wouldn't they be the same pronunciation? Why mix up the pronunciation?
I was just seeing if you catch it.
I caught it, bro.
Yeah.
You know the best way to trigger me is to pronunciation issue. Choose one, for God's sake. Anyway.
C-Mel seems to be having a lot of different alliances at mine. He seems to be going back and forth. Wow, this is an early Lone Druid 2 with the... Or actually it's a Enchantress 3 with a Lone Druid 2. So he will always be Lone Druid 3.
That's pretty sick.
It's very, very powerful.
Only at 14 HP. So that's obviously the huge negative here. And completely out of gold. So has rolled down all the way. He's all in at this point.
This is max. That was max, no? He has 50 gold, I believe.
Oh, I thought we were looking at wrist.
Oh, no, you're right.
It was wrist.
You're right. Yeah, so wrist is all in now because he's so low on health.
See, this is where Aegis really comes in handy.
Right, it would have been helpful. So wrist is hoping now to streak for so long that he can come back and start gaining interest again. Because he was so low, he's scared of losing the game, of course. And this way, you could either come back in the top 3, or maybe you can secure a place in top 4 if the other players are too greedy.
Right now, it says he's a Lord 0. What does that mean?
I don't know. Is 0 better than 1?
I think so. I would say so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
This is going to be
Oh,
fun.
guess
Wrist.
we'll have to ask Gaben about that.
Indeed. Wrist in jeopardy of being the first person to lose in this game.
Yeah.
But of course, like you said, his lineup is quite powerful right now because he went all in.
It's literally insane, right?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to lose. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I think he will be safe for 8 rounds, maybe.
8? That's your prediction? 8 rounds? Okay, we're going to
That's how long he will be definitely safe.
Round 30. All right, let's keep mental note of that and see if your prediction's correct.
I'm not saying he will lose,
All right.
but it's going to be scary in
Okay.
8 rounds.
Gotcha.
Because people will catch up with their high interest, right? They're going to be at the same level as him in some time.
Yeah.
So Seamus still at the top, and Snowf as well. They've been kind of going back and forth there. It's very close in top 3, actually. We have only 3 players that has 40 or more health. Okay,
Yeah, the new meta in a nutshell, based on these HPs. It's
most
great.
definitely, yeah. It's looking to be real tight, and then there's bottom 3. Do you feel like there's a round where all of a sudden 3 people just are out of the game?
Round 25 or 26, maybe.
Yeah,
Is when it
26
really
or
starts.
27.
Yeah, that starts to get real
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah, then we can see a bunch of players just dropping all of a sudden.
And on this board, CML, of course, still has the scrappy inventors. I think he picked up a final flash, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll probably try to go mages here, as you see Coddle. And what do you think of Coddle? Coddle feels like
underwhelming.
you have to be level 2 Coddle,
Yes.
and you have to have level 2 CM for it to be okay.
And you almost need a brooch sometimes.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of work, and it's kind of awkward for mages, and that's why we're not seeing them so much anymore, because Kala has become nerfed. He's much worse and harder to come by. And Razor, sure, he's great at level 1, but when you actually want to transition to 3 good mages, Razor 2 is not as powerful as before.
Yeah.
So sometimes I even go up to Lich before I'm able to get a call to exchange there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So it can get pretty awkward sometimes, and you don't really want to do Lina unless you're playing 6 mages. So
Yeah, and looking at Snowf's board at the top of the list right now with 45 HP, he has the 6 knights and still doesn't have DK2, but the one thing I wanted to mention is he does have coordinated assault,
yeah,
which is insane on knights, by the way, especially when he's gearing towards a level 3 Luna as well, only two away from finishing that.
Yeah, and all of the knights still mostly physical damage, and they don't have really any cast time on any of their spells, so getting more attack speed on them is super powerful. And given that you're playing knights, you have Batrider, and usually squeak in another troll there, so it's very, very good, as you said, for knights.
The real question mark for him, this is the thing I struggle with sometimes, is you get to this point, you have, obviously Batrider's a troll, so you could theoretically just have one. It's obviously nice, though, to have Witch Doctor as well, just to spread the love, if you will. But
also
you have
more
to
attack speed, no?
Right. No, well, it doesn't stack additively that way anymore.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay, sure.
So it only stacks if you get a second version of that that perk. But the issue right now is you're going to lose Heartless once you get rid of Drow, so you have to put Necro in. But at the same time, you need Viper or Puck to activate DK. So do you get rid of Witch Doctor?
This
feels
is
like
hard.
the only one.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I think since it doesn't stack anymore, I think that's going to be an easier thing to do. Unless you want to go down to 4 knights and try to play the Warlocks, the Trolls as well, and the Heartless. So I think that's a big 2. And the Dragon, of course.
I didn't even know. YCA has a level 3 Terror.
Oh my lord.
Holy balls. That's disgusting.
Okay.
And he's not activating. But this is the Wild Wings, though.
Yeah.
Never hitting.
IC4 roll down below 50 gold, but this is a strat. I mean, this is a combination that can work almost for the entire game, or even win the game. If he gets a BKB at some point, I think he's pretty easily going to be in top 3.
Yeah, it's looking fairly good for him right now.
Yeah, very much so. He has double bedfellows, that's this player as well. Wow.
Yeah, so the question
One away from Antimage 3 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, that is a pretty disgusting start. Actually, I was going to say maybe you get rid of Quap towards the end game, but he does have 2 level 2 Quaps, one on the bench, so maybe we'll be keeping that. This is like one of those instances where like going too many demons, is that a problem? I mean, you do have CC with Tidehunter because it is a warrior now, or Tide Warrior, sorry.
Yeah.
They need to rename him. And you have the Scaled as well between him and Slardar. So that's actually pretty solid once you get to level 2 Tide especially.
No, I completely agree. The only awkward part looking in his lineup is maybe that Witch Doctor, which I would want to maybe change towards a Disruptor. You want to, because demons deal a lot of damage, but they're fairly squishy. So if you crowd control them, you can burst them down pretty easily. It's more like of a race on time, and if you have Disruptor, it gets a lot easier to win that race. Tinker free.
Oh, he got BKB, by the way.
Oh, my lord.
We didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
You literally said it, and then he picked it up that turn.
I mean, did he have Smuggler too? He must have a Smuggler, right?
He might have it, yeah. It's...
Yeah, that's... Just look at that.
AM does 4K damage.
No,
AM.
No big deal.
That's... Oh, my lord.
Yeah.
This is the dream, man.
Yeah, it's looking real good for YC4. I think that Sunsfan somewhere is...
Somewhere.
Exceedingly envious right now.
I wonder where Sunsfan is right now. Yeah, that is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. And it looks like we have Wrist here, who has 14 HP. The refresher on Disruptor over Lone Druid. If you can get it off, obviously it's quite good, but
right.
It feels like it's more guaranteed, especially with Lone Druid only have 60 mana capacity now.
Yeah, I think it's actually very close. Disruptor is amazing when you have 3 mages because he actually deals a lot of damage. Also, given that he has 2 warlocks, that will heal him a lot. So he will become very tanky with Refresh Orb. But then, as you said, I mean, 2 Lone Druid bears also very good if you need something to tank for your mages. But given that it has 2 warlocks and the mage buff, then I'll go that. Oh my god, look at this boy.
He's one shot. If he transforms, then you just lose.
Yes.
Right?
Correct. Which will happen every time. Even now that it has BKB, he can actually just put Terrorblade in the front line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, because he's not going to die, he's going to get BKB off. And because the way the BKB works is as soon as one opponent, I think it's when they get full mana, correct? He BKBs. Whenever an enemy gets full.
The first person gets mana, yeah. Can we go to Nero time real quick? He's on the bottom right now, 4 HP. Ooh. He has 2 Hunter's Focuses with 6 Hunters, one of which is a level 3 sniper. I have to say, and this includes Medusa, level 1, which did recently get buffed, but still a little underwhelming. But with Maelstrom, so it can proc multiple times, or has a better chance to proc, I should say. This looks very interesting.
Yeah, the hardest part with Hunter is actually getting that Medusa, and she's super important for the lineup. So I think he's well on his way to maybe be in this game, but given his life total and his gold, I think the highest thing he can hope for is maybe top 4 with a bit of luck. But I mean, if he plays against this Terrorblade,
it's all about who faces this guy.
I mean, I guess in a way, Hunters have a lot of physical damage.
No, he died.
Okay.
Game's over for Mr. Hunter.
Okay. What I was trying to say is that given that he has a lot of physical damage, maybe he could nuke down the Terrorblade before he killed too many of his units, but we're not going to get to see that.
And actually, another person just went out. So this is your top 4 for this game so far. Who do you favor? I mean,
Riz is still here. Yeah. You remember round 30?
That's true. That's true.
It's going to become dangerous from now.
You got it.
Yep.
Too bad you can't get Aegis at this stage of the game. Even if you lose to creeps and get the lower tier.
We have upgrades. Queen of Pain level 3.
God, that lineup, dude.
Yeah.
But we didn't even mention Mask of Madness is actually on a Luna level 3 for this 6 Knight lineup.
Oh, Lord.
Which now actually does not have the activator yet for DK, so...
Yeah, seems like he's favoring the 2 Warlocks with the Witch Doctor. Also being level 3.
Oh my god, this is terrible. Oh my god. 2 shots, a Luna level 3. I don't know what you're going to do against this guy.
14k.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is the... And the fact that somebody else was going demons early as well.
C-Mel, who was almost in the top, took 20 damage from YC.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't fully transitioned to Mage, though, on C-Mel. That's kind of the issue. I feel like that's the one good potential alliance versus demons, although the BKB makes it a little awkward.
True.
I thought it was a double BKB. It's actually the Sacred Relic, but
he's definitely looking for a Tinker 3. It's a huge power spike when they have CM because Tinker 3 gets almost zero. Almost get the eyes on.
All right, we can't. We're done talking about everybody else. YC, this is the game of his life. A level 3 Shadow Fiend now.
Yeah,
dude.
This is disgusting.
And the level 2 Tidehunter came through not long ago. He has a Doom level 1 who's a little awkward. Feels probably a little underwhelming next to his brothers, but my goodness, this is the most disgusting demon lamp I think I've ever seen.
And it's interesting in this game because we can see that the metagame has really changed in the way that people roll. Here, people roll down when they around these levels between level 25 and 30. They actually roll down to 0 gold.
Yeah.
Before we saw people staying at level 8 or maybe level 9 9 with this new patch, but stayed at 50 gold and tried to keep rolling before going down to 0. But here people are just trying to power spike as big as possible at this point to also knock out their enemies. That's really a big change in this game, I feel like.
Yeah, I like it a lot more.
Yeah, before you didn't care much about how much damage you dealt to your enemies. You were just trying to do your thing. But spiking earlier is becoming a lot more powerful with you taking more damage when you lose.
I'm still a little bit surprised about this Snowf not activating his DK yet. Because we talked about how I mean, he has 6 knights, which is obviously great, but we talked about his biggest opponent right now, the biggest threat of him losing is the demons, who go right through that shield. So I'm questioning why that is his decision right now. But we'll end up seeing. Very close to level 3 Abaddon as well.
The Warlock buff is not going to help immensely against a lineup that deals the one-shots your units. I mean, what are you going to lifesteal then? However, I mean, Necrophos is... He both gives Heartless and Warlock, so he's kind of in the middle of a...
Yeah.
I guess, House of Cards. Without him, 2 alliances would fall, but I do agree with you.
Ooh. YCA facing Risk, who now has a double... I was going to say a double Disruptor level 2, but one got insta-killed.
Yeah, this terribly just doesn't care.
All right.
He one-shotted the Disruptor without transforming.
Whoever... yeah, that's when you know the game's over. Doesn't even need meta to actually destroy you. All right, Wrist goes out.
Oh, so Wrist it was supposed to be scared round 30.
Yeah.
Round 31.
There
He's
you
out.
Go. Gotcha. CML actually lost, but I believe he had Aegis. So because of that, he is now top 3.
Hey, Aegis
High
brothers.
Five, Aegis. Yes. So happy.
I mean, it's earning him a full point in this tournament. That's
a level 3 Witch Doctor, by the way.
Yeah,
wow.
I saw that earlier.
I feel like it's a bit underwhelming, actually. I would almost never go. I mean, he does have Refresher, so that could be scary.
I feel like it becomes a lot better when the Warlock, since the Warlocks got buffed with the new buff, that it's easier to get off your spells and more times. It's so powerful to get it off one additional time. Previously, he was kind of shit. Let's be honest. And this scrappy player is very sad about being in this game because
Coddle didn't do anything.
Yeah, they're all about being sustainable, and it just doesn't matter against this lineup. It just doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
He even has 2 skilled against his mage units. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think we should... Well, CML is still fighting. Looks like he's out. So let's take a look at Snowf, because this is going to be the underdog, if you will, against this demon lineup, in theory.
Right.
So if we can take a look at Snowf and see his 6 knights, which still expecting maybe... I mean, how much gold does he have right now? He's completely out. So he's not leveling up to 9. Can't get in like a Viper or anything like that.
I like the Dragon Horde right now. Seems very powerful.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Dragon Horde is an interesting item. Counterintuitive for what you want to do, but the more gold you have, or your current gold at the start of the round is how much extra damage in % your dragons have.
Right, which is 0.
The higher the better. Yeah, and right now you're getting nada.
Yeah, so it's kind of counterintuitive that you have more gold in late game and dragons comes in the late game. But then you actually want to roll down to 0 to be as powerful as possible. And he's gone. Yeah,
but this is, of course, YCA's board, so things could be different on Snow's. We'll have to take a look.
I'm going to guess no.
So YCA, I mean, I don't know how you... I think you go AFK after you get those 4 level 3 units and just call it a day.
I mean, might as well get some rest, you know, go for a bathroom break. I mean, I guess you got to get those points. I mean, coming second does matter, getting third.
Yeah, no, that's true. The first place, of course, gets the most points by far. So there's quite a discrepancy between first and second. I think is 10 and 7, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
So yeah, that was game 1 of our Underlords extravaganza, and we got to see demons right away. How exciting is that? So good. So with that, let's go to the panel and see if they love demons as much as us.